That's what we did with our reparations. And you see, Egypt was spoiled, which means their economy was spoiled, which means their system of commerce was spoiled, which means their jewels were spoiled, which means their resources were spoiled, which means they didn't have much. They had to start over. They had to build up. They went into what you would call an economic depression because they lost all these great jewels and gold and goods and resources. They were spoiled. So you can see, Yah didn't give reparations to us as you think you would get it today. It's not going to be for the favor of the country in which you reside in right now. It will be for the favor of Yahweh's house. Also, there's another example of us receiving reparations. We've been in many captivities. So there should be evidence of this happening to the children of Israel. And how did Yahweh have us direct these reparations? And not only that, what is this going to do to the economic situation? You see, the reparations received in Egypt spoiled the Egyptians. But if you go to the book of Ezra, the first chapter, we'll begin reading the first verse, where it reads, "Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, Yahweh Elohim of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Yehudah. Who is there among you of all his people? His Elohim be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of Yah Elohim of Israel. For he is the Elohim, which is in Jerusalem. And whomsoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, beside the freewill offering for the house of Elohim that is in Jerusalem." So when Cyrus decided to let the children of Yehudah go, they were to go back to their land. And they were directed to build the house of Yah. Cyrus said, look, that's why I'm letting y'all go, because Yahweh wants his house built. And he told the men that lived in the provinces that he ruled over, he said, give these men that are leaving gold, silver, goods, beasts, beside the free will off, beside what you're offering, just give to them these things. And that's reparations. Verse 5 said, Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Yehudah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit Elohim had raised, to go up to build the house of Yah, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, and with beasts, and with precious things, besides all that was willingly offered. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of Yahweh, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his Elohim. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hand of Mithridat, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Yehudah. And this is the number: 30 charges of gold, 1,000 chargers of silver, and 29 knives, 30 basins of gold, silver basins of a second sort for 110, and other vessels 1,000. All the vessels of gold and of silver were 5,400. All these did Sheshbazzar bring up with them of the captivity that were brought up from Babylon to Jerusalem. Those were reparations to repair, to rebuild the house of the Most High. You see, when we came out of Egypt, the reparations were to build the house of the Most High. When we came out of Babylon, the reparations were to build the house of the Most High. But Yahweh has prophesied what will happen when we come out of here, America, and get our reparations. First, he's going to tell you what he's going to do to their economy. And then he's going to show you what you're going to get. In the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. In Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, start reading in verse 33. It states, "Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yehudah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." Your state, our state right now, held captive, held strongly, and ain't nobody trying to let us go. Their Redeemer is strong, but Yah, he's stronger than these nations. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon her liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Yah is going to destroy the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon their horses, meaning their resources, their animals. A sword is upon their chariots, their vehicles, and upon their mingled people. And all their mingled people that come here to work, that come here to make money, that flee here, all the mingled people throughout all the nations, he's going to even put a sword on them that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed, meaning the treasures of Babylon will be no more. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. This is going to be a destruction in the land once Yahweh delivers his people. Once he gives us our reparations, there's not going to be nothing left here. You can see what he's going to bring to you and what it's going to be for in the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. In Isaiah, the 60th chapter, I want you to see exactly what is going to be brought to you. You can start reading at verse 4 or verse 3, where it says, "The Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see, all they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then you shall see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces, meaning their money, their resources, the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto you. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto you. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy Elohim, and the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I had mercy on thee. Therefore your gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces, the resources of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Not only are your reparations going to be for the beautification of the house of the Most High, but even your deliverance is going to have the world come and serve the children of Israel. The world events that's going to take place, you're going to see kings from Russia and from England and from Germany and from France and from the continent of Africa and from the continent of Asia, all over the world, coming to the children of Israel to serve you. And they're going to bring forth all their goods, all their resources, all their jewels of gold and silver and precious stones. And the Most High is going to do this. And this is going to be your reparations. How will that affect economic events? It will completely change the way you deal with money, with commerce. Completely change it. Today, the world economy is based on the United States dollar, meaning trade in the world happens under the dollar. Countries have to convert their money to the U.S. dollar to trade goods. But when Yah restores Israel, they will be the leading nation. And Yah's economic standards will reign. And no one will be subjected to the oppressive financial practices of the World Bank, of the International Monetary Fund, or of the United States and the Federal Reserve Bank. None of these banks and none of these financial institutions will survive. because they're holding your gold. They're holding your silver, your brass, your jewels, your resources. And once Yahweh forces them to let them go, they will have not a penny to stand on. They will not have one nugget of gold to base their money on. They will not be able to charge interest, and they will not be able to take interest. They will not be able to use the system of wicked economics anymore, because Yahweh would have converted all the forces of the nations unto you. This is your great substance, and Yahweh will do this in the very near future, because Yahweh said that you will come out with great substance. So while they're talking about reparations, while they're having congressional meetings and hearings about reparations, those are vain talks. Those are vain hearings. Those are not going to be in effect at all. It's just the people going through the motions, still trying to see if they have power in this man. And when they see that they're not going to even get their reparation talk, they're not even going to get their consideration of reparation, when they see it, they'll know again that Yahweh has done this thing. But how also will our deliverance directly affect the world? If you look in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, because it's one thing that the world has a financial shift. You know what happened over a little 10 years ago when the stock market crashed? They tried to call it the Great Recession. And the only reason is because if they called it the Great Depression, then more panic would have occurred. They couldn't call it the Second Great Depression. They couldn't call it a Greater Depression. They called it the Great Recession. But it was nonetheless an economic depression. The stock market crashed. And it was major. Money and credit around the world was scarce. It changed the economic face of the world. And it's still reeling from that crash. And so what do you think will happen when they have no gold, when they have no silver? It will be more than a stock market crash. It will be a complete annihilation of the world monetary system as you know it today. But what else will happen because of our deliverance? Not just the economic change, but a complete change, a complete, what you would call, revolution, an actual changing of the guard. Kingdoms will fall and nations will rise. And this is how Yahweh is going to describe this deliverance and what effect it will have on the world. In the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, the first verse reads, "For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov, and the people shall take them captives, take them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yah, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give you rest from sorrow, and from your fear, and from the hard bondage wherein you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Now you got to understand that getting delivered out of this captivity is a major change in the entire world. There's like nothing ever like this has ever occurred. You see, the people, it says, will even be joined unto them and cleave unto them. Well, you're going to see this world event happen. Hold Isaiah 14 and go to the book of Zechariah, the 8th chapter. In Zechariah 8. And we'll start reading in verse 20. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, it shall be yet come to pass that there shall come people and inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before Yahweh, and to seek Yahweh of hosts. I will go also. Yes, many people and strong nations shall come to seek Yahweh of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is of Yehudah, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. Many nations are going to come and attach themselves unto the children of Yehudah, because they know we're going to Jerusalem. They know we're going to serve Yah, and they know that Elohim is with us, is in Jerusalem where we're going, and they're going to want to come with us. You're going to see the world change in this manner. People aren't going to be trying to see when the Princess of England is having a baby. They're going to want to know, when is Yehudah going home? Because they want to come also. Back to that Isaiah, the 14th chapter. We were in verse 4. It says, then thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. Which means he's going to bring down the great oppressor, the great oppressive country, nation. He's bringing down these people. The whole earth is at rest. Meaning there's not going to be a rumor of the United States bombing, going to war with, fighting anybody. Don't you know that the United States has been at war since its inception? Meaning they have fought a war somewhere in this world since 1776. They have been at war. Constant war. All over the map. On their own land and in the lands abroad. At war. But since Yah brings them down, The land is at rest. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak unto thee and say, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like unto us? Your pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of your viols. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover you. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend unto heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And this is what this man has done. All these things has this man done. And Yahweh said, no matter what you've done, in verse 15, yet you shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see you shall narrowly look upon you and consider you, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one of his own house. But you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, they go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden underfoot. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because you have destroyed your land and slain your people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Yahweh is going to destroy utterly Babylon in the wake of your deliverance. Babylon and all its children will be exterminated, extinct. None of them will be left. They will be gone. All these evildoers will be eradicated, taken away, and distinguished from the earth. The Creator will not allow them to create not one more city. Not one more McDonald's will pop up anywhere in the world. Not one more Disneyland will pop up anywhere in the world. Not one more Walmart will pop up again. This entire nation that take you captive and held you fast and destroyed the earth will be done away with. That event will be world changing, but yet it goes with others that will be world changing. If you go to the book of Hosea, the 1st chapter, you'll see another thing that will occur for the deliverance of Yehudah. And in Hosea, the 1st chapter, we can begin reading at the 7th verse, where it reads, but I will have mercy upon the house of Yehudah, and will save them by Yahweh their Elohim, and will not save them by bow, meaning ain't nobody going to be shooting no crossbows, no bow and arrows, no guns, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, or by horsemen. Ain't no level of warfare that you can practice in going to get you salvation. There's no army that's going to get you salvation. You can't learn no tactical maneuverability to get you salvation. No weapon are you going to need. Yahweh said he's going to save us, and it will not be by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said Elohim, call his name Lo Ammi, for you are not my people, and I will not be your Elohim. And that's what happened. We got put away, sent into captivity, denied our heritage, names taken, nationality forsaken. We weren't called Israel. We weren't called Yehuda. We were called nigger and black, Afro-American, Negro, and African-American, but not by our nationality. But verse 10 says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people. They even teach you in the church that you're a Gentile, that you're not a so-called Jew, that you're not of the children of Yah, that you got to be grafted into the blessing and the promise of Abraham by serving Christ. They tell you that you're not a Hebrew, but you're a Muslim. Or they'll tell you that you're an Egyptian, or you're some kind of other thing. But they're not telling you that you're the children of Yah. They're not telling you that you are Yahweh's people in this place today. But in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living Elohim. Then shall the children of Yehuda and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of YIsraEL, because Yahweh has planted his seed in this place. And once it rises up, it will be a great day. And that world event where everyone acknowledges that you, African American, black man and woman, nigger and Negro, that you are the children of the living, the only living, and the only true Elohim. That will be an event that no one will miss, that no one will be able to ignore. In the book of Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, you will see how Yahweh will exclaim this point. In Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, start at verse 17. It says, Yahweh, thy Elohim, in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, not the ones that are eating peanut butter sandwiches and fried chicken and cake on the Day of Atonement. He's not gathering those people. They're not sorrowful for the solemn assembly. They're not sorrowful for the things that they're not able to partake in. Who are of thee to whom the reproach of it was a burden? Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they are, where they have been put to shame. Yeah, you're going to get fame. You're going to be called the children of Yah. And this event will be in a direct effect of Yehudah's deliverance. Why? If you go to the book of Isaiah, the 11th chapter, you'll see why. Isaiah 11, first verse states, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots." And who is Jesse? The father of King David. So who comes out of Jesse? King David. "And the Spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yah, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. This is in the time of the rod of the stem of Jesse, King David, when he rises up and teaches the world Yah's judgment. And verse 10 says, "And in that day there shall be a root out of Jesse," that's David, "which shall stand for an ensign of the people," meaning a signal, a sign, a token, a beacon of the people. "To it shall the Gentiles, the heathens, the nations are even going to seek it, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea, because Yah's king will stand up. Yah's king, David, the Yehudahite, who Yah has raised up unto Israel, will stand up to gather the people. Yehudah will be delivered first, because King David must stand. And he, verse 12, shall set up an ensign for the nations, and assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. This is what will happen. This will be a world-changing event where your people will be delivered from all the nations where they have been scattered. You will not miss this thing. This will be broadcasted throughout the world. It will be in the ears of everyone that Yah has gathered his people. Also, in the book of Joel, or Yoel. You'll see what Yah will do because of Yehudah's deliverance. In the 3rd chapter, in the 1st verse, it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Yehudah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations," a direct effect of Yehudah being delivered. Yahweh will gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And what does Jehoshaphat mean? It means Yah has judged, into the valley where Yahweh will judge, where Yah has judged and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. He said he's going to get his due on the nations that have scattered Israel and Yehudah, and that have parted the land of Israel and cut it up into the state of Israel, to the Gaza Strip, into the West Bank, into the Sinai Peninsula, and into Lebanon, and into Syria, and into Iraq, and Kuwait, and Yemen, and Saudi Arabia, into all these little parts that the land of Yahweh is parted into, the country of Jordan. All these places you think belong to these other people, it belongs to you. And Yahweh is going to rectify, is going to rebuild, is going to set all the crooked things straight. When he gathers the children of Yehudah in Jerusalem, he will gather all these nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to judge them for scattering our people and for parting Yah's land. And they have cast lots for my people. He said this is what they did. They cast lots and have given a boy for a harlot, which means they sold, they just gave some of these slave traders a harlot and said, give me the slave boy, and you could take this harlot. And that's what they did. You could even look it up. And sold a girl for wine, and that's what they did. They sold slaves for alcohol and sugar and tobacco, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver. You went in my land. You took my silver and my gold, and you have carried it into your land, your temples, my goodly pleasant things. The children of Yehudah also, and the children of Jerusalem, have you sold to the Grecians, that they might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head, and I will sell your sons and daughters into the hand of the children of Yehudah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh hath spoken it. Yahweh is going to return all this evil on the heads of these nations, because he has a controversy and he has a case, and it is righteous, and he's coming to get his people. And the world dominance will just completely be changed. Those who are in rulership and in influence today will be no more. Also go to the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. In Ezekiel chapter 37, Yahweh is going to describe to you exactly how your deliverance is going to look. It says in Ezekiel 37, verse 19, says, "Say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I will take the stick of Yosef, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Yehudah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on their every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all." Meaning what? Upon our deliverance, YIsraEL will be united. Yehudah and Ephraim will no longer vex each other. It will be one kingdom, one people, and no more two. Because Yahweh is establishing his king and his kingdom and his rulership through Yehudah. This is why he will be delivered first. Verse 23 says, "Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of their dwelling place, all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim." He's going to save us out of our dwelling places. Which means what? There will be an exodus, a deliverance. And all these things must happen in order for us to be saved and delivered. The economy will crash. The nations will fall. The world will change. And we will walk out of our captivity. Free people. Delivered people. Not having to worry about what our oppressor is going to do. Because our oppressor will cease. Our oppression will be over. And Yah said in verse 24, "And David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd, and they shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them." Because he's going to deliver us. And David will be the king. David will be the leader. David will be the shepherd. David will be the commander. And the world will even know it. And acknowledge it. And lastly, in the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, the major world event that will occur upon Yehudah's deliverance, not only will it impact the financial institutions of the world and change forever the fabric of the monetary systems of the entire world, not only will it eradicate the oppressive kingdoms that you serve under today, it's even going to change the way we say the name of Yah. In the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, in the 13th verse, it says, "Therefore will I cast you out of this land, into a land that you know not, where we are now. Neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other Elohim day and night, which we do today. Where I will not show you favor, which you haven't had to this day. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall be no more said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, like North America, like Canada, like the United States, the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land, and I will give them that I have gave unto their fathers. The Almighty won't even be remembered or called Yahweh, the Elohim that brought us out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. He will be known as Yahweh that brought us, the Elohim that brought us out of the land of the north, in all the places where we have been scattered. Because he is doing a worldwide deliverance, a worldwide salvation that will be known throughout the four corners of the earth. There will not be one waking eye, one listening ear that will be able to escape and not be known of Yahweh's great deliverance. Everyone that is alive and everyone that will be able to hear and see will know that Yahweh has delivered the children of Yehudah and the children of Israel. And the whole world will come and serve Yah in Jerusalem. This, brothers and sisters, is your salvation, is your story. This is what's in store for you. But we must endure to the end in order to obtain this blessing in this great salvation. So it's not time to slack, it's time to be strong. For your Elohim is on his way. Hallelujah. And until tomorrow, Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Shalom.